Are you having fun in your business? I mean, it should be fun, right? Well, sometimes the fun gets overlooked when you're dealing with the have-tos, the complexities of being your own boss and actually running the show. It's my goal that this, the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast, can help reignite your spark of fun by providing tips, tools, insights, and inspiration so you can enjoy running your business in the simplest, easiest, most fun way possible. I'll be sharing practical tips and ideas that you can implement immediately, along with business and money mindset insights to keep you moving forward no matter what's going on around you. I'm your host, Deirdre Amies, the Fun Business and Money Coach and founder of Powered by Personality. Let's play. Hey there, and welcome to the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast. Today is a coaching episode where we dig a little deeper into a specific area of business or money, sometimes life. And this one is a doozy, I gotta say. I am feeling a little fired up after seeing way too many posts on social media about people being ripped off by business coaches or feeling ripped off. And suffice to say, it makes me really mad that people are paying serious money to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars in some cases for piss poor coaching and no results, no support, just a bad experience with some cookie cutter template of a program. Ugh, that is not good enough. Yes, the coaching industry is largely unregulated, and I have no idea how you'd even attempt to regulate it, to be honest. But that's no excuse for the experiences that some people are having out there. Now, the final straw that prompted me to talk about this was a post recently from someone who had clearly bought into some BS marketing hype on an epic scale. I don't know about you, but I'm not down for paying $16,000 for 4 months coaching, especially when it consists of a maximum of 8 calls, which are a maximum of 15 minutes each. What the AF? And I'm being mindful of people listening in the car with maybe little people along for the ride here, but you know what I mean. What the AF? Let's do some basic math on this one, shall we? It's a 4-month package. 8 calls of 15 minutes. That's 2 hours of total call time across 4 months. At a $16,000 price tag, that's $8,000 per hour, relatively speaking. Now, I don't advocate for anyone to actually charge by the hour. As I mentioned recently, I think it was in episode 73 about maximizing your growth in less time. But working out your hourly rate is a very handy-dandy thing, simply because it helps you figure out if the juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak. Is the work that you're putting into a particular task worth the outcome? I'm talking about having a great old time spending hours on a free lead magnet that only a few people access, and it doesn't generate any calls or sales. The juice is definitely not worth the squeeze on that one. Ask me how I know? Been there, done that. But while I will happily say that my coaching is awesome, it's life-changing, it's money-making stuff, I don't think there's a single thing in my life or business that I could say is worth $8,000 an hour. I could be wrong. You never know. But I don't think so. I would never charge that. Of course, that hourly rate doesn't take into account any course materials, recorded content, or other things. I'm purely working it out based on the contact time that you get to interact with the coach. And fun fact, that is what your audience will do too. And this is why opinions are pretty much a 50-50 split on whether you should or shouldn't put your prices on your website or talk about them on social media. People will always price shop. So you have to make sure you're being crystal clear on the value that they get for their investment. Don't be fluffy or vague about it. Otherwise, they're just going to scroll on by and they'll pay someone else who is clear that they can solve their problem for this price. Now, I'm also an advocate for charging premium fees, high ticket, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. It's a great business model when it's done right. And I've talked about this in previous episodes as well. But in order to charge premium fees, you actually have to deliver quality coaching and results. Hashtag just saying. It's not good enough to simply follow a script. If you're not actually listening to what the person in front of you is saying, what they need, then you're not doing your job. Don't be constantly watching the clock to make sure that you're hitting that time limit if you're not going to deliver the valuable insights, the information, and the support that that person needs in the time frame. Now, of course, I don't want to make this episode all about what other coaches are doing with their marketing or with their coaching. Nobody is perfect, and someone out there will love the results that they get for their 16K investment and 2 hours of coaching time. It's not for everyone, but it is for someone. What I do want to focus on is what you can and should be looking for in a business coach to make sure it's a swipe right match for both of you. And it always cracks me up when I use that term, swipe right, because I got married way back around the time email became accessible to the majority of people. Most people didn't have a computer at home. We certainly didn't have smartphones. And it was long before dating apps were a thing. So before I ever mentioned swipe right in any of my content, I think the first time was a few years back, I had to Google which way are you swiping if you're actually into someone. Now, there's a couple of other things that I hear and see from people who've been burnt by online coaches in almost any industry or market. One of those is feeling like they wasted their money. And I think that's what this person feels like who invested 16K. It's a really hard one to reconcile because it's one of those things that we hear throughout childhood. Don't waste money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Spend it before you lose it. Make sure you keep it in a safe place. All those variations and countless other ones as well. There's a lot of shame around wasting or losing money, and nobody wants to feel like that. If you feel like you invested your hard-earned money, there's another money belief that it has to be hard-earned, and you got little to nothing to show for it, you can feel like you've lost something quite significant. You're less likely to trust someone if you've been burned in this way in the past. It can make you very wary of trying to do it again, even if you know that's the help you need. If this is something that you've experienced in the past, it's not a sign or a guarantee that it is going to happen again, especially if you've recognized it for what it is. You may have been caught up in FOMO. Everyone else is doing it, so you jumped in on it as well. Now, I could certainly say that I've wasted, in air quotes, a lot of money on courses, coaching, and everything else over the years. But I choose to reframe it as part of the journey. It was an experience that I had to have in order to get to the here and now. It was a lesson learned. It's all about the energy that you attach to it. Another thing that people tell me is that they don't feel like they got value for their money with a previous coach because they didn't have the access that they felt they needed or that they expected. And I'm talking in terms of that first example of spending 16K for 2 hours of coaching spread over 4 months. As a connector money archetype, I can tell you that is not enough for me to feel like it's a good investment of time, energy, or money. And I'm sure for many of the other money archetypes, they would say the same thing. If access to a real person is important to you, make sure you're asking about it. I mean, if you just want the info and don't care how you get it, then an online course with pre-recorded content, that is perfect for what you need. But if you're a connector, nurturer, definitely an accumulator, or even a romantic money archetype, you're probably going to want to know how much access you're going to have because you want the relationship, or you want to feel like you're seen and heard, like you belong. You're getting value for money, or having greater access will make it easier for you to get your questions handled, heard, answered. And side note, if this is your first time hearing about money archetypes, and maybe you're listening to the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast for the very first time because someone recommended this episode or the title piqued your interest, hello, hi. I try not to use too much in the way of unfamiliar jargon without explaining it because that annoys the shit out of me when other people do it. So if you're not familiar with the money archetypes, in a nutshell, they're your personality traits that show up in relation to money. And you can find out yours by taking my online quiz. Head on over to deirdreamies.com/take-the-quiz. deirdreamies.com/take-the-quiz. You'll also find a full overview of all 8 of the money archetypes way back in episode 3 called Unlock the Power of Your Money Personality. So make sure you go check that one out. You'll find the link in the show notes, or you can just scroll on back to the earliest episodes and you'll find it right there, episode 3. Now, a variation on the not enough access thing is where you've signed up for a program because a particular person is the face of the business, the magic of marketing and influencers. But that person turns out to not actually be involved in the program. They're not active in the Facebook group or whatever other online community that they use. It's someone else answering questions. The person features in recorded videos and they created the program, but there's little to no opportunity to engage with that person live in the here and now. They're not the one running group calls. Maybe that's been handed off to a team member, which isn't a bad thing at all. But that does need to be very clear upfront so that people aren't disappointed. If the public face of the program is the reason you signed up, make sure you know how much interaction you're going to have with them and what format it'll take. Ask the question if it's not clearly stated in their content or their sales page. You might have access to the coach through group Q&A calls, but you might also be one of hundreds or even thousands of people in the program. So that makes your odds of actually getting your question or your issue heard very low. So that's just a couple of things to consider in terms of return on your investment and feeling like you got what you expected with whichever coach it is and their program. Now let's get to the pointy issue, the burning question that everyone wants answered. What do I look for in a business coach? And of course, my answer is going to be, it depends. There's a few factors to be considered, so let's go through those. The first one is, what stage of business are you at? If you're just getting started, you definitely need someone who can help you establish a solid foundation so that you're not faffing about, throwing spaghetti at the wall, and wasting literally years trying to figure it all out on your own. If you've been in business for a couple of years and maybe you're realizing that's exactly what you've done so far, you need someone who can help you unravel the tangled up random stuff that you've pieced together and then build that solid foundation so that you can grow from there. If you've had a ton of success working your magic to date, whether you're winging it or you've actually got a plan and a system, then you need a business coach who's going to challenge you to see the tiny gaps for improvement that can have an exponential positive impact on your overall revenue and on your profit margins. You need to get into the nitty-gritty of that stuff. Now, one business coach could absolutely help you at all three of those stages. But if they're marketing themselves as a one-stop shop for all of them, you might want to give some more thought to who you're hiring. Choose someone who clearly states that they work with people who are just getting started or that have been in business for a few years, because they're specializing in a particular niche. And that's a skill that you can easily adopt for yourself by following their example. Don't be a generalist. Another thing to consider is this coach teaching a replicable system? Now, more often than not, coaches are teaching you what worked for them. They're a couple of years ahead of you in business. Maybe they're now considered an influencer and they're making millions every year from their courses and programs. But if you look a little deeper, you'll see they're selling courses on how to create courses or something similar, how to market. They're selling systems to grow your social media that actually worked for them 5 or even 10 years ago. Hate to break it to you, but social media has changed a lot since the days where you could throw a few bucks at Facebook ads and have thousands in sales from it. People are a lot more discerning and BS savvy these days. Your content has to be top quality to even get noticed. They may have already had an email list of 3,000 people when they launched their offers. If you're starting out from scratch, it's not an even playing field. That's not a replicable system for, I'm going to say 97% of online business owners today. I'm just plucking that number out of the ether. It depends on your personality, your expertise, your money mindset, and a whole bunch of other factors that nobody talks about when they're marketing those courses. They simply tell you about their system as the one to rule all the systems. And people buy it because they're looking for a quick and easy win. So look deeper and find out if what they teach is something that you have the time, energy, or expertise to implement. It has to resonate with you. It has to feel doable and that you feel like you'll have the support to implement it along the way. If it doesn't, you may as well be forking over that $16K for 8 15-minute calls over 4 months and just be done with it. The next thing to consider is their results. Can they back up their claims with legit testimonials or client success stories? If you go to Marie Forleo's website, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of screenshot testimonials about her B-School program. There are podcasts that I listen to that are business coaches talking to their actual clients about their success stories. I love them. They talk about where they were before, what they did during their time together, and how things have changed since working with this coach. It's a mutual PR thing, public relations exercise for both parties, because the client gets to talk about their business on a platform that has a far greater reach than their own at the stage they're at, and the coach gets the endorsement and proof of their methods direct from their client in their own words. Now, that doesn't mean that a business coach with only a few testimonials is no good. On the contrary, it can simply mean they're not comfortable asking for testimonials, or they're not comfortable with shouting about their own success and they'd rather just get on with doing the work. That's where having a celebrity archetype on your team would come in handy. They'll make sure you're in the spotlight in all the right ways. Another thing to consider is know, like, and trust. Does it really matter? Yes, it does. Know, like, and trust is a long-held marketing concept that says that you buy from people that you know, that you like, and that you trust. So if you're going to invest your money with someone and trust them to guide you to the outcome you want, you need to also trust your intuition. That little whisper that says, "This is exactly what I need," or "This feels off. Something isn't legit here." Don't ignore that whisper. And I always refer to it as a whisper. I even whisper it because marketing hype shouts way louder with the sole intention of drowning out your intuitive little whisper. Marketing hype is about convincing you of something. Marketing intuition has a very different feel to it. It's a knowingness that you do indeed feel like you know, like, and trust this person to help you, to tell you the truth, to share what you need to know. If you've had a business coach recommended to you, do your research. Check out their content on every social media platform. Look for a consistent message. Search for them on YouTube and podcasts that they either host themselves or they've been a guest on, and listen to what they're sharing. It's a great way to get to know them before you ever reach out to them. Find someone who resonates with you. You like their personality. They're consistent in what they're talking about. You feel like you actually know, like, and trust this person. And I should also add that sometimes your intuition can give you all the green lights at the start, but you also have to trust that you'll know the right time to call it quits with a business coach because we can outgrow them. They should be very clear about what part of your journey that they can help you with. There should be no smoke and mirrors BS. Just show me a clear roadmap that highlights where I am now and where I'll be after doing the work. Once you're there, having done the work, it's time to reassess. Is this still the right person to help me move forward? Or is it time for someone with a different area of expertise? Only you will know. Listen to that intuition. Another important thing to consider is how you like to interact with your business coach. Do you want to be part of a group mastermind where you have online calls, maybe a couple of in-person events per year? Then you choose someone who offers that. If you're creating a freedom-based business for yourself where you serve your clients online, you never have to meet them in person unless you want to, and you want to work from anywhere in the world, choose a business coach who supports that. That's how I operate. I'm an introvert. I'm dealing with perimenopause symptoms. I have limited energy on a daily basis. It takes a lot less energy to get on Zoom with someone for an hour than it does to spend an hour together in person. And I'm not going to lie, I also like the freedom to go to the beach with my paddleboard on a random Tuesday or Wednesday or any day that the weather happens to be perfect. I love working with clients all over the world, and I always make the effort to have work hours that suit most time zones. If I was offering in-person events, then I'm limiting the number and the type of people that can access that. Not that I think too many people would mind a visit to sunny Queensland in Australia, but you know what I mean. Of course, this is a perfect time to mention that if you would like me as your business coach, all you got to do is send me a DM to initiate a conversation about what you're looking for. I'm at Fun Business Fun Money, all one word, on Facebook and Instagram. Connect with me on LinkedIn and DM me there. I'm the only Deirdre Amies in the world, to the best of my knowledge. You can email hello@deirdreamies.com if you prefer to email. Or if you've signed up to receive my weekly Fun Day emails, you can hit reply to any of those, and it's me that will respond. Not a VA, not a team member. It will always be me now and forever because that's how I roll. You'll find the links to all of those in the show notes. We'll have a quick chat about what you're doing right now, what stage of business you're at, and what you're hoping to achieve. My signature program is Ignite. It's a minimum 6-month business and money coaching program. It's you and me, one-on-one, simplifying and building a solid foundation for your business growth right now and in the future. Why is it 6 months? Well, because implementation is everything. I don't just teach you a bunch of stuff. If I was going to do that, I'd create a course, sell it, and be done with it. I'll be back at the beach. But I prefer to be right there to support and guide you as you implement, and that takes time. Often my clients stay on for 12 months or more because they love that ongoing support. And none of the calls are outsourced to other coaches. Although, if you're listening to this in a few years' time in the future, that may have changed. You never know. We'll work out a personalised approach to ensure you get exactly what you need. Ignite is not a cookie-cutter template program full of random stuff that you just don't need. I help you create client roadmaps and offers that are perfect for you now, and I give you the know-how to develop them on your own in the future as well. Sound good? Send me that DM already at Fun Business Fun Money, all one word, on Facebook or Instagram. Hit me up on LinkedIn, send me an email. My inbox is open and waiting for you to just slide on in there for a chat. And of course, if you prefer doing your research before reaching out to me, head on over to deirdreamies.com/ignite for all the deets on the program. You'll find the link to that in the show notes. Honestly, there are so many variables to consider when choosing who to work with as your business coach. But that is one thing I would recommend every single online entrepreneur does. Research. Have at least some idea of what you want. What is your current problem? And we'll dive deeper into that. Ask for recommendations. Check out that person's social media content. Listen to every podcast they're on so you can get a good sense of who they are. Check out their website. And most important of all, trust your intuition. Don't buy into the marketing hype. Don't let FOMO get the best of you either. Understand who and what you're investing your time, energy, and money in. And you'll never feel like you've wasted your money if you're making an informed decision. There's a political phrase that's come up in Australia recently around a referendum, and it's, if you don't know, vote no. And I call BS on that. If you don't know, find out. Ignorance is never an excuse. It applies to anything and everything. If you don't feel like you know enough about something, ask questions and keep asking questions until you're satisfied. There's no such thing as a stupid question, especially when it comes to investing in your business. That's what I got for you today. A little longer than average, but this is a big topic, which is made even bigger when I'm feeling a little fired up about it. Take care, have fun with whatever you're doing today, tomorrow, and every day, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me. If you found this episode useful, make sure you hit that follow button on your chosen podcast platform so you get the notifications when each new episode goes live and you don't miss anything. If you know someone who would also get something from it, don't be shy, share it with them. One of the best things about being a business coach for online entrepreneurs is helping them make sense of their creative ideas and turn them into a simple, clear business system that actually makes money. A client recently described me as a castle building expert. You've got the big vision and some of the building materials already, but you don't quite know how to bring it all together into a solid foundation. Then I come along and I show you the blueprint that makes sense of it all. I love that analogy. And I'd love to show you your personalized blueprint, the one that's just right for you and your clients. But I can't do that until you join Ignite. my business and money coaching program. So head on over to deirdreamies.com/ignite for all the details. Fill out the application form and let's talk about building your castle in the simplest, easiest way possible.